Hi, welcome back to my channel. I want to disclaim at the very beginning, I'm not a psychologist and I'm not, but this is a concept that I learned on the internet which is pretty easy, and it's easy because I don't know if the person I learned it from was qualified or not. It's just an easy concept that I'm sure anyone and his dog could describe to anyone else. It's been really helpful for me, even in the last like 10 minutes since I started watching the video. I'm just doing a video straight after it. I always like to make a video obviously on my own channel rather than just like put the other video in the link. I could put the other video in the link, but I'll try and describe it to start off with. It's about word salad. It's about changing your beliefs and like basically aligning with beliefs that support you rather than disempower you. Understanding why you might have felt that way in the first place, but it's quite a simple concept. And it's interesting the psychology behind why we actually form certain beliefs in our psyches. Just to disclaim for anyone that wants to know as well, I will never do a video that is beyond the realms of my criteria to explain. I'm not like qualified, but again, this is a simple technique which I learned and I think is easy to be brought on by no one else. So yeah, you can have a lot of negative beliefs, and also your mind. If you have contrasting beliefs, for example, you know, you've got like an abusive partner and your mind is thinking, logically, I need to get away from this partner, even on an instinctual level, even if it's not in your conscious awareness, but you're trying to justify staying in the relationship, so you're like, but they love me and they're just having a bad day. Could be the case that they're having a bad day. Is it love if they're abusing you? I would say no. But obviously we change our perception of love sometimes if we're in abusive relationships. In any stage of life, adulthood, childhood, whatever. So when you have opposing beliefs, your brain chooses the belief that is easiest. And the reason it's easiest to stay in a relationship is because you find the idea of leaving too difficult, and you find the idea of challenging a very complicated situation which involves a lot of, I mean, it's actually a very easy concept and an easy thing to get a grasp of and an easy thing to support yourself with once you know. But obviously when you're in the depths of that situation, there can be a lot of complicated shit that goes on, you know, can be a lot of repetition that goes on that has already happened in your mind, and you can be very entrenched in that way of thinking. And you can have a lot of, you know, beliefs in the first place that are negative, and once you are in that level of cognitive dissonance, it's cognitive dissonance at the end of the day, once you're in that level of cognitive dissonance, you will form other beliefs to support that belief and kind of justify the situation. But you can like question those beliefs outright. Like, you don't have to, obviously it depends on your emotional state and your situation at the time, but in my experience you can, depending on your mental state, like I'm not trying to say like I don't know what anyone else's situation is, I don't know how safe they are, how safe they feel, how much trauma they've had or whatever, but it's a case of, again, that's not my qualification, but I have found that you can rationalise beliefs straight at the place they are, and it's about like breaking down beliefs that are untrue, building beliefs that are true, and reframing beliefs that you might have already had about a situation, or discarding them altogether, and realising that anguish that's created from cognitive dissonance is very stressful, and you know, and it's normal to have these justifications, because we all, like, we're adaptable creatures. Like, it is kind of normal to want to create cognitive dissonance. That's why it's there. But it's a case of, you know, you don't have to stay in that situation. The sooner you learn it, I feel like the more equipped you are to deal with the situation, because some people just aren't aware they're in cognitive dissonance and they just live for years and years and years and years and years and years without it. So just to give a quick idea of what this could look like is, I have to exploit myself to others to feel comfortable, for them to feel comfortable. This is loving as it doesn't hurt them, aka might not, you know, threaten them in any way. but then I rationalise it with their problem is not mine. For example, if someone's like jealous or, you know, sociopathic or just likes to dominate, or, you know, if the person's not looking for your best interest, that's not your problem, due to the fact we're all separate beings. That would lie with them and not you. That's not for you to take on. And it's not like, and it would be nice to not bring myself down and join an abuser in that mentality, because that's what happens when you side with an abuser and you take on a false sense of love. Because love is love. Like, we all, you know, I don't know if every single person feels like this, but most people can feel love within their soul. If you think, what is love? You can feel this sense of what love might be. If you're being abused, or you have a negative, toxic, bad situation, or you have, you know, people that don't want your best interests, and it's not a healthy relationship, I've found out before, when you have a healthy relationship, there's like 4 out of 5 things that are good about it, or something like that. If it's unhealthy, it's going to have 1 good thing out of 5 out of it, which is why it's toxic. But, you know, but yeah, it's a case of, when you have that sort of a relationship, it can help you justify, it's again another justification of, they love me but they're abusing me, which is a very complicated thing, and it's not something that I really want to discuss in this video because that's a very separate thing in itself. But it's a case of, you create cognitive dissonance within a situation that justifies it to the self, because the mind likes to find sense in things. But the case is that there is a unchangeable truth, which is that I don't have to degrade myself for other people's benefit. That is not something that I need to do. That is just a fact, you know, within my human will and my human rights and the laws of the universe. I don't have to do that. And breaking down those similar types of beliefs, you know, it can just be very freeing and empowering. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm just going to write down my beliefs, and I think you could just write them down, and straight away when you look at them logically, you're just like, no, like, I mean, it's understandable, and you can explore where they came from, and that's fine too, you know, given you're ready and stuff. But then it comes down to then the case of, you're manifesting in a different way, you're vibrating at a higher vibration, your beliefs will change. It's so powerful when you work on yourself internally. It's so powerful that it manifests externally. Your behaviours change, your sense of self changes, you elevate in some ways, you know, attract different people, you repel people that you want to repel, to be honest, because they don't feel that they can break you down, so they don't even try. It's a very powerful thing. I'm not saying you'll never be attacked in any way ever again, but it's a case of, you know, it's a very powerful thing when you do sort of like look at these beliefs. You know, obviously they come about for different reasons for each person. It's what it is. But yeah, I hope this helps, because it was really helpful for me. I love doing little videos like this where it's just informational, because sometimes it's nice to do a couple of videos that are like, I just do whatever I feel like is right. But yeah, thanks for listening, bye.